and bilateral ratifications between our two countries, including the North American Free Trade Agreement, which addressed long-standing disagreements and encouraged economic growth shared in both Canada and the United States. President Clinton's long-standing commitment to the international community is also expressed in his work as founder and chairman of the William J. Clinton Foundation, which this fall marks its 12th anniversary. Its initiatives on climate change, sustainable development, and the treatment of HIV, AIDS, and malaria have brought practical solutions to seemingly intractable global challenges. At the same time, these important initiatives are also pilot projects of a new model of public social entrepreneurship, which bring the best of business practices and experience to the benefit of effective distribution of public goods. President Clinton's visionary outlook for the broader community continues to guide his priorities. After serving as UN Special Envoy for Tsunami Recovery from 2005 to 2007, he was recently named the United Nations Special Envoy to Haiti as part of an effort to rebuild that country. President Clinton's outstanding leadership initiatives have garnered him numerous great honors and awards. He's been awarded honorary doctorates of laws and humane letters from a host of distinguished universities, and in 2005, the University of Arkansas System opened the Clinton School of Public Service on the grounds of the Clinton Presidential Center in his honor. That same year, he was awarded the distinguished J.W. Fulbright Prize for International Understanding, and in 2006, he was named Honorary Chief and Grand Companion of the Order of Laguhu by Papua New Guinea. For his contributions to the advancement of global freedom and human rights, he received the International Freedom Conductor Award in 2007, the highest honor granted by the National Underground Railroad Freedom Center. A perennially active and popular leader, President Clinton has also been named to Gallup's list of widely admired people of the 20th century, an honor he shares with Mother Teresa, Mahatma Gandhi, and Albert Einstein, among other notables. With his active dedication to humanitarian causes and his strong advocacy of entrepreneurial philanthropy, President Clinton's current work and his legacy remain unfinished. Indeed, as one American writer has suggested, history may best remember Bill Clinton as a philanthropist who happened to have been president. Today, we celebrate this inspirational global leader, and I'm honored to join with all of you assembled in welcoming President Bill Clinton into the McGill community. I would like to mark this extraordinary moment in McGill's history by making a special mention that this is the second time a U.S. president has received an honorary degree from McGill. In 1944, at the height of the Second World War, on the site of their private Quebec City conference of that year, a unique convocation ceremony was held in Quebec City, during which McGill granted degrees to then U.S. President Franklin Delano Roosevelt and British Prime Minister Winston Churchill. I can imagine today how my predecessor, Cyril James, felt on that special day. And so on this remarkable day in the modern history of McGill, and in the presence of Mr. Clinton's friend and our alumnus, Dr. Victor Dahdaleh, and all assembled, it is with great McGill pride and deep personal pleasure that I now call upon our Chancellor, Arnold+Steinberg, to bestow upon President William J. Clinton the university's highest honor, the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa.
It's now with the greatest of pleasure, I have no doubt to this entire audience as well, that I welcome Dr. Clinton to the lectern to give his address.
Thank you very much, Chancellor, Madam Principal, Secretary General Lynn Thibault, my great friend Victor Dahdaleh, ladies and gentlemen, members of the board, thank you for welcoming me and giving me this honor. I'm going to do something supremely undignified. I have been studying the robed men here and wondering how they wear this without choking. And I learned that what they did was to put their ties through. So I'm going to. I may not be worthy of the degree, but at least I'm a good student. When the principal was kind enough to present the better aspects of my biography, there were two things that she left out. First of all, shortly after I got out of law school, I was myself a university professor. And I was the youngest member of the faculty at the University of Arkansas, where I became famous for being willing to teach more different courses than anyone else on the faculty. One of my critics said that was because I knew nothing about any of them. The other thing that I think is important is that when I was president, I came to Canada more than any American president in the history of our country. And I say that because it was really important to me. And when we were walking up the stairs, your principal said to me, "You know, you seem to share Canadian values." There were many occasions when leaders of the Republican Party suggested that I might want to move to Canada. And many when I thought it was not a bad idea. I am profoundly honored to be here at this magnificent university and to be honored in the way that President Roosevelt was honored. I think it's worth beginning by saying that I am particularly grateful for the priority that McGill has placed on making serious commitments to broadly shared prosperity, sustainability in the face of climate change, reaping the progress and promise of science and technology, promoting wellness and health, and trying to deal with the amazing array of diversity that exists in our country and throughout the world that has to be both respected and reconciled. I found it very interesting that amid all the things that might have been picked out about the people who've been kind enough to give me some award or another, the principal mentioned the award I got from Papua New Guinea. And I noticed some of you chuckling. If you've never been there, you ought to go. But the interesting thing is that little country, comprising just a little more than half of the island of New Guinea, the rest being the Papua province of Indonesia, contains half of all the languages still spoken on planet Earth. A stunning statistic. And a good departure point for my remarks today. I was asked to come there by the government to do the AIDS work we do. because they have the highest infection rate in Asia, even though it's quite low by African standards, a little over 2%. And I thought it was especially important to do because of the phenomenal diversity packed into a small place. The reason they have managed to preserve so many languages is that they have the highest percentage of people who've never been more than 10 miles from where they were born. The flip side of that is that they're vulnerable to every sort of invasive organism. And they're vulnerable to deforestation. They're vulnerable to careless mining. They're vulnerable. And it would be a shame if, before any of these languages could be recorded, they would follow the path of so many other hundreds of spoken tongues where people communicated and raised their children and did their work and made their common decisions. And we now have no record of them. So I thank you for mentioning that. The thing I always liked about Canada was that it seemed to me that in many ways it was like America with one fundamental difference for the last 25 years. I mean, you have Canadian cowboys, you have Canadian miners, you have great native populations, you have vast expanses of unoccupied land, you have clashing cultures. You even have occasional votes about whether you ought not to be together.